Hey everybody, it's Gordon. Welcome to the bench. And today we're going to do a short video on order of operations, or the necessary steps on a tote repair. And the request comes in from David, who writes about a tote that he has. His is rosewood, and for example, this is not, but it's just a prop. So the problem with his is he's missing a horn, and so we're going to take that away. He has a mid-body brake, and there's material missing, so he's got a bigger gap, and we know we need to replace that. And then he also has a chunk missing off his foot. And, you know, the first question is this salvageable? And my answer is always going to be yes. If you want to fix it, you can fix it. If you want to try. I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. But what might be just as important on the total restoration is the order of operations, or what step should I take first? And you've heard me say this in previous videos. I'm a one step at a time person. And so here's what I'm going to recommend. We need to focus on this mid-body brake first and foremost. The horn is the horn. It's a little, you know, it's not an accessory, but it's cosmetic, you know, on the top, and we can shape that however we want. So I don't want to worry about that right now. And the foot is something we're going to fix last. So there's the answer. Mid-body, fix the horn, then do the foot. And here's why. Mid-body. First of all, this brake, in David's example, he's missing material, and it's not uncommon with an older tote that's been broken and it's under a lot of stress and wobble, and it flakes away, and you get these big breaks, and it ends up looking like this, where no matter how hard you squeeze, you still have this unsightly gap. We don't want to just fill that with epoxy or fill it with something obnoxious. So what he's going to do is cut his out completely with a little sled and the hot melt glue tip that I use. And we're going to replace it with either a contrasting wood or a like wood, whatever he's after. But what we need to do is we need to figure out the height, right? The height of this tote overall is important because, as you remember, you have the base, which is fixed, you have the frog in place, and you've got a lateral adjuster. And if we make it too short, it's going to be a little wonky and it's going to look wrong. If we make it too tall, we're going to hit the lateral adjuster, and we don't want that. So how do we determine the proper height when you don't really have the missing piece? And what I do is this. I'm just using a 1/4 inch dowel, and you already have a hole that's bored all the way through the tote, right? Remember, that's a nice tight fit, and if you can't make that tight, get something a little oversized and sand it to fit, but I don't want any wobble in that, so that's going to be my guide. This is my alignment tool, and that hole that was bored through was done when this was a solid piece of wood. So that defines an axis. That gives me an adjustable. If I want to make this a little taller, I can just pull it apart. We can lay it down flat, hot melt glue this on a sled, plow it out, because that's a sacrificial dowel. I don't care, but it maintains the alignment. If you want to put something in longer, go right ahead, but start with something small to get an idea of what you're dealing with, and that's going to help you keep that contour on the outside. It'll allow you to maybe just put a dot of hot melt right here to fix it, and then take this and set it on your plane and check your height and make sure that you're not hitting your lateral adjuster. So once we've determined what we believe to be the correct height, or best case, if you have another one that you can compare it to, that's a great way to do it too. But once you have this, we want to glue this down to a sled. We want to plow this out with our table saw or whatever saw we're using, insert our new piece, glue it together, sand it, shape it, do all your repairs here, and don't worry about the horn, don't worry about the foot. Let's make a really focused effort on getting this to where we want it, because this is the most difficult of the three that we have in this example. So there's my first step. Once I'm happy with that, the dowel, again, is sacrificial. Don't worry about it. We can always drill that out. And one of the advantages, I will say this, the advantage of using a short dowel is that I leave the pilot hole. I can still run a 1/4 inch drill through the tote without having to re-drill this. If you look down the center, you can see where it's still there. So I get my 1/4 inch drill started, and then I just push it on through, and I clean the little stub of a dowel out. No big deal. If we were to put something long in there, right? If we were to run a dowel all the way through it, you've essentially filled that and it's going to be a little bit more challenging to drill that back out. So I don't do that. I like to use something a little bit shorter, maybe even shorter than this, once I have my alignment and I know where I want to be. So that's our first repair. Second, I would say go on to the horn, okay? Because you can, with your vise or with your work holding devices, you've done your base repair, you get this mid body. You can put this back on the sled, you can make your table saw cut, you can put your new block of material on here, and you can clamp this thing in place. And now you've got a lot of liberty to shape it to whatever you want, get this contour the way that you want, and you can put this again, put it back on your plane and check it to make sure that you're getting the geometry and that look that you want. So to me, it's about height and it's about shape. So we've got the mid body done. We've got our horn glued on. That's our second repair. We've sanded it, filed it, shaped it. We've done everything we need to do to keep this nice. And then last, now it's back to one piece. Last, we have my little puzzle. We have this guy. Okay, what are we gonna do about this? Well, if we've already fixed the mid body, we've got that done. Put him back in place. We've got our new horn on. I don't think this is a big deal at all. If you sight down the tote, right, as I hold it this way, what I want is this to be flat. That's what's most important. And remember, the grain's already going in this direction, and because it's down here at the foot, people don't tend to look down in here, and you've got the sides of your plane there, there's shadows going on down here. So this is one of the easiest blends that I think exists in terms of matching grain. It's already fractured in this direction. His may be a number 5 with a hole right here. That's okay. And what I do is this: cut a piece of plywood or whatever you need to, MDF, in a triangle, get this angle, or affix it and tip the angle on your saw and then make that pass. You can file this flat, you can plane it flat, you can sand it flat, whatever you need to do. But you want to keep open pores and keep nice fresh wood here, so we can glue a small stick on here. And then when that's all done, that's one of the easiest blends. So now we're holding on to the top of our tote, blend it all out, shape the foot, follow the contour. You got a nice mirror on the bottom. And that's the 3 steps. So get the height right and do your mid body, use the dowel if you need to, move to the horn, and then shape that and do a nice job up there, and then come back and do this little sliver. That's the order that I prefer. That's the way I would do it in my shop. Hope you follow along. Give it a like, subscribe, ask any questions. I'm always happy to shoot additional instructions out there. This little video was brought to you by request from David. I'm on the road, I'm not in the shop, but if I can, I'm gonna help you out. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.